plan, a site development plan that meets the requirements of sections 35,741 and 35,742 must be approved before building permits may be issued. All necessary local, state, and federal approvals should be obtained. Number 3, indoor housing. All long-duration animal housing, boarding, and confinement shall occur inside enclosed buildings. Number 4, overnight confinement. Animals shall be housed indoors between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Number 5, 24-hour supervision. Continuous and on-site supervision or monitoring shall be provided 24 hours per day to ensure animal safety, proper confinement, and timely response to any operational issues. Number 6, supervised outdoor activity. Outdoor animal use is limited to designated areas and must be under continuous direct supervision. Outdoor areas shall not be used for unsupervised or long-duration confinement. Number 7, vegetation and screening. Existing mature vegetation within 50 feet of outdoor activity areas shall be preserved to the maximum extent practical, except where removal is necessary for access, utilities, or safety, and may be used to meet screening requirements if it provides opacity greater than or equal to the standard of section 35-121. Where existing vegetation does not meet this standard, the applicant shall install a minimum 15-foot wide evergreen buffer of trees or shrubs, at least 8 feet in height at installation, to provide year-round screening. Number 8, lighting. All exterior lighting shall be downward shielded and directed away from adjacent properties and roadways. Number 9, all vehicles shall park in designated on-site spaces. The shared access road shall remain unobstructed. And number 10, regulatory compliance. The operation shall comply with all applicable local, state, and federal requirements. I'm happy to answer any questions. And Ms. Walker is here as well.
Is Ms. Walker here?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, not too bad.
Happy belated Fourth?
All right, so you've heard all the conditions. Are there any issues with those?
Not at all. I've actually been working on learning about the zoning for Pittsylvania County and the codes that they have. So I know that my first blueprints that I turned in didn't have enough parking spaces in it, and we've been revamping and working on trying to make sure that we have at least 88 spaces because of the 20,000 square foot building, which I believe is in compliance with the code for Pittsylvania County. So we are going to work as hard as we can to make sure we do every single thing correct and possible, because this is for the community and we want it to be correct.
All right.
So.
Please speak in the mic.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We're trying to do everything we can to make sure that we are we follow every rules, all of the rules, and are in compliance with all of the codes and everything that's required for Pittsylvania County.
Okay.
We have absolutely no problem with following any of those guidelines.
Any questions?
Ms. Walker, I got some questions.
Okay.
Is there easement on the road going into your property?
Not that I know of. Do you mean that where I'm going to put where I'm going to start my?
Well,
answer?
the easement would be for all the landowners joining the road. Most of the time you'll have either, a prescribed easement is 20 feet.
I
You
think
can
ours,
have up to 60 foot most of the time.
I think what we've done is put 100 feet distance between any neighbors. I don't know if that's what you're.
No, I'm talking about the road. See, from Cascade Road down to your property is a half a mile.
Yes.
And I was over there Sunday. The road is in great shape, but it's 10 foot wide.
You are correct about that, sir.
And it's no place really to meet. And it's going to be a whole lot of construction.
I've already agreed with the neighbors and I've also spoken with Kelly, who was one of the neighbors who asked about the same thing. I do have ability to get gravel. I do have people that I can get gravel from, and I have promised, and I will make the promise to, if anything happens because of any people driving through because of me, I will fix and maintain that road.
Well, my concern is meeting traffic. You're going to have a whole lot of traffic in during construction.
During construction, possibly, but I will make sure that I concur with the neighbors and make sure that it's not during any school times or any times that I will speak to them first. I will make sure that they're in agreement with the times that they're coming in or going out. I've already spoken to them about it, and I've also told them that I will put up signs that none of the people coming into my property are allowed to block that road, hinder that road, or not park on my property.
Well, the traffic going in and out, it needs to be wide enough in places where someone can pull off. And it needs to be wide enough so somebody on a car won't be changing paint with a concrete truck.
Luckily, my property is right after the first, where the wooded area is. Mine's the very next part.
Yes,
And
ma'am, but it's a half a mile to get to it.
You're right about that.
Yes, ma'am. And so the way it is now, if a truck's coming down that road, if they starting in, somebody's going to have to back up a long way. And so my concern is that the first order of business is to fix the road where traffic can meet on it, so you won't have bottlenecks.
The only thing is that I would have to speak to the man who owns the first property and see if he will allow me to widen that part.
If it's not a recorded easement, you will have a prescribed easement,
Okay.
which would be 20 feet.
Okay.
So one of the conditions that I would like to add is this road be fixed so that traffic can meet on it. You don't realize how much traffic will be on that when they are building a 20,000 square foot building and doing the other building that you have proposed.
Yes, sir.
And it's going to be a problem, and your neighbors don't realize yet as much traffic's going to be on it, and unless something's done to this road, you're going to have some mad neighbors before it's over with.
Well, I've actually spoken to the only neighbor who said anything about possible traffic. And I've agreed with her that, I will make sure that it's not during any hours that they are normally coming in and out. I can make agreements with them that the day that they come in, I will let them know that they're coming in. They have to park on my property. They're not allowed to block the road at any time. And that's one thing I can promise, is that I'm not trying to make my neighbors angry at all. So I can definitely try to make agreements with them for the days that they are coming in to build, if that would be okay.
Well, I still think it needs to be at least some places on this road where vehicles can pull off and pass.
The only thing I think is that I think that might be impossible from the point of where my part begins to the end of that road, which you said is a half a mile, and that's because it's somebody else's property.
Well, like I say, with a prescribed easement, if you don't have road frontage, the people owning the land in front of you have to give you 20 feet to egress and egress.
Okay.
And so you'd have at least 20 feet.
Okay, so if I were to fix the road in two different places or something like that where they could pull off, or how would you recommend that?
I would say at least 5 places you'd need to have a pull-off place.
Within the half a mile?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Because in places you can't see what's coming.
I do understand that. I understand that there are some curves there.
Yes. My driveway's a half a mile long too. and so I know about what you're facing, you know.
So do I just contact the neighbor and tell them that I need to make 5 different places?
Yes, ma'am.
Who do I contact to get the exact rules or like how to do it perfectly without making any problems?
Well, you know, it don't have to be asphalted, but you need to have it wide enough and have it gravel.
Okay, I can get gravel, that's not a
Yeah.
problem.
So, you know, that's my main concern. And the second thing, I hope you got some deep pockets of you getting in, because you're getting ready to spend a whole lot of money.
Well, I think for the community and I think for these animals, I think that they deserve what's going to happen. I do have a lot of people that are waiting for approval first before we start asking for any type of grants or showing them what we're doing on YouTube so that they can help, like with donations and things like that. It's not just going to come from my pocket, which a lot of it has, all of this has come from my pocket from the beginning. I've spent over $100,000 already alone. So I think that with God's will, everything will happen the way it's supposed to.
And I hope everything works out.
And me too, sir. Me too.
Any other commissioners have a question? Thank you, Ms. Walker.
Okay.
Has anyone signed up to speak to this case?
No, sir.
Is there anyone here tonight who would like to address this case? Seeing none, it is now 7:21. Public hearing for case S-26-01 is now closed.
Okay, do I go sit down?
Mr. Oaks.
Mr. Chairman, in case S-26-019, I make a recommendation that we recommend giving a special use permit with conditions brought forth by staff, and main condition that the road is updated in 5 places where traffic can meet without creating a problem.
Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Ms. Meeks. Are there any other questions, comments, or motions? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. It's now 7:22. Public hearing for case S-26-020 is now open. Ms. Smith.
Case S-26-020, George Ingram, on behalf of Pine Lane ATV Trails, is requesting a special use permit on a total of 283.9 acres located on Old Richmond Road, 360, in the Tunstall Election District, to allow for a public recreational facility with ATV trails, primitive camping, and temporary uses for events on 3 A1 Agricultural District Zone properties and 1 B2 Business District General Zone property in accordance with Pennsylvania County Code 35-179 and 35-366. The application packet and the board and the staff summary is in your board packet, as well as some letters that have been received so far. The Planning Commission may elect to continue the public hearing to allow the applicant additional time to submit an updated conceptual site plan and provide additional details regarding primitive camping, temporary events, internal circulation, and access-related issues before forwarding a recommendation to the Board of Zoning Appeals. If you choose to move the request forward, staff does have recommendations, and I'll be happy to read those if you decide you would like to move forward.
Okay. Mr. Ingram.
Yes, sir.
Anything you would like to add to what's been submitted?
Well, I hope tonight that we could proceed forward with our request. Little backstory, we did have a special use permit, but I guess due
Please just.
to my negligence, We lost it, and I'm just hoping to be able to get another special use permit.
Okay. Any commissioners have questions?
Mr.
Mr.
Ingram,
Oaks?
I'd like for you to address the problem. We got a bunch of pictures and a letter that your riders were riding on other people's property, tearing up jack. I'd like for you to address that.
Well, we were not made aware of it, but when we found out that at one particular area where they were riding on the other people's property, we went down, blocked it off, and then another particular parcel, we own property, then someone else, and then below this other person, we own another tract of property. We thought that, easement was easement. We didn't know there were several different types of easement. But there again, that was me not knowing, and I take full responsibility for that. But we have had a new concept plan done that cuts this other people's property that I have brought to Ms. Smith and Sabrina over in the office.
Well, on other people's property, have y'all gone out, reached out to make restitution?
We really don't have any way of getting in touch with them, this other person's property. Far as I know, they don't live in the state of Virginia.
Okay.
Anyone else have questions?
Yes, with your property being divided by a highway, do you have everything approved with like VDOT with them crossing the roads and signage, maybe site clearance?
We have signs that will be put up that we are granted another special use permit that say caution ATV crossing ahead. That has always worked in the past. We put up the construction barrels, and it's been no problem in the past.
Do you have an hours of operation?
Well, we used to open up at 9 a.m. and we would let people ride all night. That's being frowned upon, and I pretty much have been told we're not going to get that back, so we're at the county's mercy now, I guess.
Do you have set guidelines for where people can pull over and park and talk? I know that certain individuals have spoken with me that it may be a tree line present, but from where the people are parking and talking and having a good time, they can hear it inside their house. So I didn't know, and a lot of them have amplified music that they play and their exhaust is really loud, so I didn't know if there was any restrictions on noise violations going over a certain decibel level.
No, we don't have anything like that in place. It's never been brought to my attention by the county or anyone else up to this point till now.
Along your property, do you have signs posted that they're getting ready to go on another property to let them know? Because I've seen it before where they don't know that they're not even on your property, but they're riding on someone else's.
There are no trespassing signs, private property that the other adjoining landowner has put up to let people know. And when we did find out they were destroying the other landowner's property, we went down, we put a 1-inch cable with old guardrail beams. We strung it right on our side of the line from where the problem started all the way down to Birch Creek within 10 feet of the water. So we did do that.
That's all the questions I have at the moment.
Thank you, Mr. Barks. Anyone else? Ms. Mees?
If I came to your property, I've never been on the ATV trail, and I wanted to participate, is there anyone that tells you the guidelines, or do you have a big sign of the rules and regulations? Or how do they know the hours and your property lines and that type of thing?
Well, we have a printed out trail map that we're going to have to revise if we are allowed another special use permit from the old one. And the rules are spoken orally. The hours of operation, once again, will have to be revised. if we're made to change on our Pine Lane ATV Trails Facebook page. And we verbally, if people ask, or we'll verbally tell them, this is merely example. We open up at 9, you have to be there by 9, or whatever the county deems the closing time to be.
But you understand that people forget what you say? So I would suggest you put up a sign, and then you can always say what the sign says. You can go back to it.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, that's just a suggestion.
Well, I agree with you totally. If that's y'all's recommendation, if we're allowed to get a special use permit to open back up, I'll be more than glad to do the proper signage.
Because you could say, well, I told you at the beginning, well, I didn't understand it that way. You know, we humans, we forget.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I have a question. Thank you for being here. Are these trails supervised?
No, we do, I'm not going to say we own almost 284 acres of land. That's what's proposed. It's hard for people to be everywhere all the time. I do have people on staff, friends of the park, that do come out and ride. If they see a problem, whatever said problem may be, they have my permission or authority to act accordingly. But I'm not going to say someone's everywhere on every inch of that land at all times. That's impossible.
Okay, I would like to know how many individuals do you have on staff and what authority do they have to speak for you regarding the issues that have been brought to the board?
Well, they have full authority to speak to me on whatever the situation may be. And in normal days, it's 4 of us on staff.
Okay, so that's 284 acres for 4 staff?
Well, it's one of us always stays at the office in case that's where the internet is. If there's an emergency, EMS needs to be called, that's where the working phone will work. So someone stays there all the time that we're open. So the other 3, they'll take turns out on the UTV. They'll ride here, they'll ride there. Some have their own. And that's just a typical day for. On big events, we have an excess of 20 people riding around helping.
Okay, that sounds better. Okay, it's good to know. So just on a regular day, at least 4 staff, 3 out, 1 in the office, and on special events, at least 20 staff members
20 plus.
roving. All right, thank you.
I have another question.
Okay.
Staying, you have the ATV trails, but then you're adding the camping. What guidelines are you going by for the primitive camping? Is that set up, or is that going to take a lot more before it would be set up? I know that's going to be a different guideline for camping.
Well, primitive camping to me is you don't have anything, you sleep in your truck, at utmost a tent. And that's the guideline. We have trash receptacles, we have porta-johns for people to be able to use the restroom. We don't offer any shower houses, bath houses, nothing like that. I hope I answered your question. That's the best I know how to.
Right, so I'm gathering that somebody wanted to come in on Friday, then they could sleep in their truck or vehicle and then still stay and ride the next day.
True.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I have another question.
All right, Ms. Smith.
Mr. Ingram, how many riders, if that's what you refer to, do you have on average on weekends?
Well, ma'am, the weather dictates a lot and what else may be going on in the riding community. There's many different ATV facilities that are thousands of acres, and they have more big events throughout the year. But on an average normal weekend, I'd say 200 to 400 at best on a non-event weekend.
Wow.
And that's real good. We have a local convenience mart down below us, Sonny's Market, and when we're open, his business thrives. He asked me on a daily thing, have you heard anything? When are you going to be able to get back open? I said, I'm doing all I can do right now.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right, anyone else? Mr. Ingram, there are 16 items that staff has put out that they'd like addressed before the Board of Zoning Appeals hears your case. I think a number of those you're kind of touching the surface on here tonight. Would kind of like, from a personal standpoint, to have you and county staff work out and really tighten up some of these conditions and rules and hours of operations and noise controls, buffer setups, number of special events, how your primitive camping is going to work, kind of really tighten it up as opposed to kind of having a loose scenario that we have now. I mean, I'm kind of looking at maybe pushing this a month as opposed to dumping it on the Board of Zoning Appeals. But that's my opinion. So, has anyone signed up to speak to this case?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank y'all.
Kelsey Little.
Please pull the mic down and state your name
Kelsey Little.
and district.
District. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Which district are you from in the county?
I live in Campbell County.
Campbell County?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can I begin? Is it okay for me to read on my
Yes.
phone? I'm sorry. Okay. Good evening. My name is Kelsey Little, and I'm very nervous, so please forgive me. I'm not here today to just ask you all to reopen Pine Lane. As much as I would love to beg, I really want you to fully understand what Pine Lane means to all of us. I'm here to share what our community stands to lose if it does not get reopened. For generations, it has been a place where families come together, lifelong friendships are built, and memories are made. I'd like to ask each of you, how many places in Pittsylvania County can you truly say has brought people together like that for decades? I grew up in Pittsylvania County, and I can honestly say there's nothing quite like it. Pine Lane is actually a part of my family's history I'd like to share with you all. I actually met my husband there in 2021, and I remember that day like it was yesterday. We were just young kids on 2 four-wheelers. And today, we have a little boy who already loves riding. For many of us, Pine Lane isn't just a park, it's a tradition that's been passed down through generations. Pine Lane has given back to our community by hosting cancer benefit rides and other charity events, directly making a difference in the lives of others in this very community. On top of that, people travel from states like Texas, Florida, and the Carolinas just to ride at Pine Lane here in this county, bringing visitors into Pittsylvania County from across all states. I actually celebrated my 21st birthday there. Just to give you perspective, I'm now 27 years old. Looking back, I'm grateful I was spending that time outdoors with my family instead of a dangerous place. Now, as a mother, I hope my son has the same opportunity to create these same kinds of memories. In today's world, places like Pine Lane matter more than ever. It's a place where people from different backgrounds come together over a shared passion, where families spend time outdoors, and where a community grows stronger. I respectfully ask you to not only think about today, July 7th, 2026, but think about the generations that come after us. Reopening Pine Lane isn't just about riding ATVs. It's about preserving a place that has strengthened families, supported this community, and created memories that last a lifetime. Thank you all for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next.
Tracy Morris.
I'm Tracy Morris. I'm from the Dan River District. The main thing I want y'all to really consider, I don't know if any of y'all have ever been out there, but Pine Lane to us, I've been living in Keelan for 30 years. Pine Lane to us is a part of our community, and the people running it, George and David, they're like family to us. And you see our group here, we're all, I didn't know half of them, you know, just for several years, but we're like family. It is very important to our community, and to me, we need something like that. People, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I remember growing up like in the 70s where people, everybody, the guys shake your hand, girls hug your neck, everybody is coming together. Like, say, they're more like family. We share food, drinks. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian. We all share everything. When somebody's in a hole, it don't matter who it is. Everybody will come by and help them. It's pulling people together. To me, that's what a community is everybody getting together. That's all I have to say. I just wanted y'all to give a consideration for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
Mark Martin.
How you doing? I'm Mark Martin. I live at 283 Mountain Lane, Keeler, Virginia. I'm the second closest person that lives right against David Ingram's trails. I probably started the trails before they was up a Pine Lane. I made those trails when I was a kid. I don't have no problem with him running Pine Lane. I like everybody that goes down there. Most of them are my friends. They can have a good time. I'm all about having a good time. But when you live 300 yards from it and the music's blasting so loud that you got to turn your TV up to 59 and your windows are shaking and it goes on to 3 o'clock in the morning and you got to work the next day, it gets a little old. I mean, hey, I'm all about partying and having a good time. I've probably partied as hard as any of them sitting there, and they can vouch for it. I have no problem with it. I just want some rules, maybe some quiet zones, just something, some respect, you know, for the people that's living around them. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Anyone next?
Crystal Barker.
I'm Crystal Barker from Pennsylvania County. I just want to say that David and George run a safe park. It's a great place to go and have fun with your friends and your family. We take our kids, our grandkids. Never had no issues. When somebody needs help on the trails, George and David, first ones down to help them out. They knew tools. Somebody's broke something, they lend their stuff out. We just like to see them open back up. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Billy Goebel.
Good evening. I've known George and David for a long time. My only question about this whole thing is, they've been in operation for 34 years. Nothing was ever said before. He had a grandfather clause, and they had to go to court. Well, once they went to court, he tried to go get a map. Apparently, the map was lost. So when it went to court, the map showed back up. As far as I could probably answer some of y'all's questions about RVing and stuff like that, is most of these vehicles that come in there and you spend the night in, they're self-contained. I own a RV. All your sewage, all your water, everything you bring with you, and when you leave, you leave. The decimals on the generators is very low. As far as night riding, I think I got a solution for that. The noise ordinance is from 10 p.m. to 7 p.m. in Pennsylvania County. I think I'm right about that. So you have a park down the road, which everybody does the same thing. The riding community is a very tight-knit community as far as everybody taking care of everybody. You don't pass somebody on a trail without speaking to them. If somebody has a problem, you stop and help them. If somebody's stuck, somebody's lost, we go to Pine Lane a lot. We know it inside and out. So we're probably one of the people that George is talking about as far as policing the place. If we see people having problems, we take care of it. I mean, we help people as we help them and stuff like that. But as far as, I don't see why both parks can't operate at night till 10 quiet time till 7, which is, Mr. Martin right here, I get it, he works a good year. I get it. And the other neighbors. Both parks ought to be able to operate in that time frame. Sunday, church, maybe 6, shut down at 6. But other than that, the four-wheeling community, it's not just okay, let's go buy a four-wheeler and let's go ahead and ride on somebody else's property. If you're on somebody's property.
30 seconds remaining.
9 to 10, you don't know it, that you're riding on somebody else's property. And I don't say it don't happen, because it has. I've actually been guilty of it one time before and didn't know until we was informed. But now George and David have it all. It signs up. The land in question of them riding on, it's gated off now. Nobody can get to it. So I wish you would take into consideration at least the operation hours. Monday to Wednesday, Thursday to whatever,
All right, please wrap it up.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Tim Alderson.
Good evening. My name's Tim Alderson. I'm from the Dan River District. I live on Mount Tabor Road, which is part of the boundaries of Mr. Ingram's property. And I actually own land right across the road for a few hundred feet and then join him on another border for several hundred feet. My concern really tonight is I don't want to come out fully against Pine Lane, Red Oak Hollow. I own about 600 acres. My family and I, we're situated between both facilities. So we share a lot of border with Red Oak Hollow, in fact. And my concern is really about the landowners who are close by enjoying, myself included, and just the desirability of the land, the value of the land. I feel like I'd like for my kids to want to come back and build on the land that we own. And I don't know how possible that is with what we have going on in the community. We also have the motocross track close by, which honestly doesn't give us any problem. But I do have concern about land values. I have concern about assessments being not really appropriate for current conditions. And I will say that with both facilities, you only hear a few loud riders. There are some times when it may only be 3 or 4 or 5 that are extremely loud, unmuffled, or very, very loud, and very loud music. I think my ask tonight is that I think you might be hearing and deciding that it's hard to enforce that many people. And when that enforcement doesn't happen on the facility, my ask is that the county have the appetite to come and actually enforce rules and laws that are in place, and rules that I hope you'll put in place regarding noise. That's the primary issue I have, is noise. I want to say that I hope that they're successful in reopening.
30 seconds remaining.
And because they're friends, they've been friends for my life, my whole life. I've lived there 61 years. I'm very pro-business. I'm very libertarian in nature. I do feel like that rules need to be equal. You got 2 facilities there. They need to be equal rules in both facilities, and I think there needs to be equal enforcement of those rules. I do hope they're successful under certain conditions.
3 minutes is complete.
I'm in favor of them continuing or being able to reinstate.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else signed up to speak?
David Ingram signed up. I don't know if he has anything to add.
don't get around too good, but I'll try. I come over to Pennsylvania County, April of 1992, got a permit to open up a shooting range and turkey shoot. In 2002, I come over here, got a permit. I got a grandfather clause in to run trucks and ATVs. And I was told that everything was okay. And everything has been okay until here recently. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, looked like everything just shut down. And I've been in Pennsylvania County all my life. I worked for the Department of Agriculture, the United States government for 40-some years before I retired. I don't have much else to say. I appreciate anything y'all can do. We have trails down there for the children to ride. We have them for adults. And we also have security and EMT on site most of the time. And thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Tabitha Ingram.
Good evening. I'm Tabitha Ingram. I live in Castle County. I am David's granddaughter and George's daughter. This is their livelihood. This is my daddy and my papa. Pine Lane has been my whole life. It's been Pine Lane Mudbug, it's been Pine Lane Farms, and now Pine Lane ATV Trails. I know this place like the back of my hand. Like, we have staff that helps. I'm one of the staff members. We love each other, we help each other. If somebody's stuck, we go get them. Somebody's hurt, we help them. We show Blairs where the people are hurt at. We help people. And this place is family. I met my fiance through here. We have our own razor and we ride, and I'm thankful for this place. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else?
James Milam.
Good evening. I'm Dr. James Milam. I'm the myself and my family were previous landowners from the property immediately across the street from probably, I'm guessing, the 1970s till sold the property about 3 years ago. I think you'd be interested in knowing some of the reasons why we sold the property. 3 reasons. The ongoing damage to our property, significant damage to the buildings that were vandalized. It was a tobacco farm. It got transitioned to a tree farm. Trees were annihilated. Roads were torn up. It was an ongoing damaging, and we brought that attention to the owners, and it was not addressed. Now, how can they address it on our property? I don't know, but when it was brought to their attention, both from my nephew, who's an attorney, and my sister, there's been no action in that regard. In addition, there's liability on the property owners. When someone trespasses on my land and an accident ensues, that's on me. That's not on the ATV park. And how do I prevent that? I can't. I've tried. I've put up barriers. I've put up fencing. I've put up, cut trees across. The riders evaporate those barriers and still entrust on our property. Lastly, the enjoyment of my property. It got transitioned to a tree farm. I'm an outdoorsman. I like hunting and fishing. I can't do that. I go on my property to hunt with a high-powered rifle with a scope, and on my property, I see a rider in my scope. Can't do that. It's not safe. What can I do to enforce that? I can do nothing to enforce that other than not enjoy my property. Those 3 factors were major contributors into us selling the property. As someone else already spoke, the property value decreased. I couldn't enjoy the property. The timber farm was being torn up. The roads are being torn up. And despite efforts, there was no improvement in that. Hopefully they'll at least, so I'm speaking against the special use permit completely. If there's at least some rules, who's going to enforce these rules? When I've contacted county law enforcement, to their chagrin, they can't do much about it. The damage was done yesterday. The trespasser is long gone.
30 seconds
I've got
remaining.
property, I've got cameras that showed pictures of it, but they have a helmet on. They can't be identified. So it's pretty much the officer said, there's not a whole lot we can do. So again, I reiterate, I'm speaking against the special use permit.
Thank you. Anyone else?
David Rink.
Hello, my name is David Rink. I'm the current owner of the property that James was just talking about. I bought it from my cousins. And the problems that he mentioned still exist. They've gotten a little better because I have actually fenced off parts of areas to try to keep people out. But as far as the destruction of trees, as most of the pictures that you see in your packets came from me, as well as I've given you a letter too. So I'm not going to go on and on about everything that's happened because it's there in their packets. But my main concern is if the special use permit is granted, how is it going to be enforced? Who's going to be there to make sure everything happens? So far, nothing ever happens. Even when y'all have issued a cease and desist order, nothing ever happens. It's just ignored and everything keeps going. You know, nothing ever changes. I also got a cease and desist order because they have to cross my property. I put up a gate. Within 24 hours, the lock on the gate had been cut and stolen, and the gates are open. I've had cameras stolen off my property that are pointed down where they go. Anyway, it's just my biggest issue with this whole thing is the rules and regulations are great. I'm assuming they're going to be just as strict as Red Oak. Where they are or not, I don't know, but there again, who's going to enforce them? Because as James said, when we call the sheriff's department, all I've ever gotten is there's nothing we can do. We call the Pine Lane, you know, when they leave here, I can't control what the riders do. You know, that's their responsibility if they trespass on your property. It's not mine. So that's my biggest issue. I hope, you know, I mean, I'm not going to say I hope they never get it, but if they do get it, I think there needs to be things put in there that are going to prevent them from crossing into other people's property, whether it's fencing it, putting in a tree line or something. But even when I put my fence up, all they do is they find a way to go around it. You know, unless I fence in my whole property, it's not going to keep the riders out. They do whatever they want, you know. But anyway, so that's all I'm going to say tonight because you've got my packet, my statement in the packet there. So I don't want to take up your time, but I'm against it. But if they get it, which I don't, they probably end up will. My biggest issue is going to be enforcement of that because as of right now, it's nothing is being enforced. Everybody's, you know, wild and willy. Do whatever you want. But anyway, thanks for listening to me. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Dawn Talbot.
I'm nervous too, so I wrote it down. I just turned 65 3 months ago, and I breathed this huge sigh of relief because I knew I was in this beautiful nested retirement cabin in the woods along a peaceful creek. I was looking forward to gardening and blueberry festivals and volunteer work, and I do tech research. And then a neighbor sent me a photo of the sign announcing this meeting, and that's how I found out all this existed. I actually was blaming the wrong trail for the noise I had on my property because I didn't know this one existed. I believe my home is presently one of the closest residences I'm just across Birch Creek from the property where this trail runs. So I have had people cross over. I've never documented it. I've never sent any complaints or anything. But I've found cans. I've seen the lights at 1:30 in the morning. And then I'm a widow, so I'm a little afraid to go out there and confront whoever might be out there at that time of night. So I let it go. Many of my neighbors are also deeply affected. You know, on the Kentuck Road side, we're mostly residential. And they're like me. My husband and I bought our land. I think David Ingram was one of the first people to introduce himself, which really made us so happy when we got our land. And my husband and I spent 7 years together working on it and fixing it up for our retirement. And it was our dream. And then in 2019, he died very suddenly. Couldn't be more proud of him, but he was a U.S. Marine, a U.S. Treasury officer, the CIO of another agency. His job was to protect all our financial information from getting into foreign national hands. And he did it well, and now he's at Arlington National. But I decided to spend the next 7 years finishing our dream and fixing it up. And as of 3 months ago, I did it. He promised I'd be safe here if anything ever happened to him. But that promise in our dream is in jeopardy, I think. This is taking away my little sanctuary in the woods. The noise invades all of our homes, but mine in particular, day and night. There's no rules, there's no enforcement. I can't plan a family reunion or
30
even a
seconds
cookout
remaining.
because I don't know when the noise might come. So I don't enjoy my property the way and my retirement the way I thought I would. I received calls this week that said you guys already had your mind made up and that I wouldn't make any difference standing here, but I just feel like having some integrity. I wanted to come, look everyone in the eye and just say this is the other side of the story, and ask you to protect the residential residents if you can. Thanks.
3 minutes is complete.
Thank you. Anyone else?
George Ingram.
You already spoke. Anyone else?
Donna DeShazer.
Hi, my name is Donna DeShazer. I am one of the newbies in the neighborhood. I moved just across the street from George and Pine Lanes. We were aware that there was an ATV park there, but we were not, we were new to the neighborhood, so, we didn't know exactly everything, the whole extent. George and Mr. Ingram have also been very, very kind to us, very welcoming. We have no problems, no issues with them personally. My concern and our concern is, sometimes I have to be at work at 5 o'clock in the morning, and especially like on a Saturday, and you have some riders out there about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it does tend to break your sleep and to, wake you up a little bit, and, and so, but you still have to get up and go to work. And I've met some of my other neighbors, so I know they go to work about the same time. So the only thing that I would have to say is, like I said, for or against doesn't really matter to me. It's just that if they could just, have some limits on, some of the times that they do ride, but just to be a little bit more considerate, of the other neighbors. I think that would be very, very helpful to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Patrick Myers.
Hello, everybody. It's Patrick Myers. I live across the street. Me and Donna live together. The Ingrams have been very nice to us. The only problem I have is when them ATVs cross that road in front of our house, sometimes there's little kids on them ATVs, and that's not their thing. But some people lag in the roads. It's a hill right there as you come by the thing. I'm scared somebody's gonna get hurt. Put a sign up, some kind of light or something, let people know that it's gonna be an intersection, so people crossing, and definitely the noise. I mean, I work at Goodyear with Mark, working 12 hours with only 3 and 4 hours of sleep because you're getting broke up every 45 minutes. It's terrible. It really is. I work with heavy equipment. I don't want to get hurt. Like I said, they show me nothing but love, but I do need my sleep. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Anyone else?
Brian Payne.
Brian Payne in the Stanton River District. A lot of people said a lot of things. I just want to say, the lady first spoke, Burt Pine Lane. It's a family. Been involved with the Ingrams and known everybody there for probably 25 years or better, and watched one Ingram grow up, and been friends, and seen Red Oak, seen Pine Lane. I've seen all the parks come, and it's just want to say it's a family. It's a well-run place. It's like anything, you're gonna have issues. And I just want to comment, if I can, about the noise. I live in a very nice neighborhood, pretty nice homes. And I can't call the deputy. I can't complain every time one of these boom boom trucks come down and blow my windows out, or these loud exhausts. And it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It's nothing for that to come through. And these trucks now, cars, these squatted trucks these kids ride around on, I got woke up several times in the last week from those. But who can I complain about to that? I mean, that's the thing about the noise. And as far as rules and things, I've been there a long time and seen a lot of things. And I know George and David both ask people, to respect everybody and respect the things. So I don't know what else can be done. But like I said about the noise, as far as ATVs, they make a, set a regulation on noise for the ATVs. But everybody's here complaining about noise, I've heard. I'd like to make some complaints about noise, but I can't do it for my neighborhood. It's just, it's where you live. Even in a residential neighborhood, you have noise problems. But like the First Lady said, it's a big family. Everybody, gets along. It means a lot to me. And people know I'm associated with the park, and I help and friends with the family, almost family with them, I'd like to say. And I never go anywhere more than 4 or 5 days. And grocery store, convenience store. Hey, what's going on Pine Lane? We miss Pine Lane. When are they going to open? So it's a big part of the community. And I'm 45 miles or 45 minutes from Pine Lane to where I live in Pennsylvania County. And my neighborhood is abuzz about Pine Lane because people love it. It's just y'all's decision, and I hope y'all grant David and George the permit because people love it and miss it. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mark Stevens.
Good evening. I'm Mark Stevens. I live in the Keelan community. I live approximately 1.7 miles from Pine Lane. First and foremost, I want to say I want to see them stay open. I think they're an asset to our community, to our economy. Me living 1.7 miles from them, I can hear them from my house. So I can't imagine what some of the real close neighbors hear. My only issue would be for our community that operation cease at 10 o'clock. That's our noise ordinance is 10 o'clock. You can't have any loud radio or anything after 10 o'clock. And George, Mr. Ingram, addressed that he was happy to comply with that. And I feel very good, hearing him say that. And I like George, I like David, and I want to see it stay in our community. But I think this planning commission has the ability to set some rules that they can police themselves. If they don't police themselves, then they can cease for an extended period of time until they can comply. And I think that's a very reasonable thing that y'all are capable of implying. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else?
John Etter.
Good evening. I'm John Etter, and I live on Old Richmond Road, right down the road from the ATV park. And this has been an amazing meeting because my wife and I have experienced nothing but noise and disrespect from the riders from that area. like everybody said, nothing, not unusual, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, loud music. I don't live on that side, I live on the other side. I pick up the Bud Light cans so they don't end up in my property. My neighbors are elderly, and my neighbors have been in the community for decades, and they have told me that they quit calling the police because the police didn't do anything. They quit complaining because they're actually afraid of retaliation. I just thought it amazing that a business could operate with total disregard for the people that live in the community. I mean, they ride up and down 360 Old Richmond Road like it's their private driveway. I didn't think that was legal, but I'm not I'm not a law person. So I just thought I'd represent my member of the community, because the stories I heard are very interesting. I'm so sorry, but I haven't seen that. The noise and the dust is just, to me, I'm just amazed that you can conduct a business like that. And that I didn't know that you can just have people just do that to all hours of the night, So I just thought I'd represent my community, and I thank you for listening.
Thank you. Anyone else?
That is it, Mr. Chairman.
Is there anyone who did not sign up for this case who would like to speak to it? Seeing no one, are there any questions or comments from our fellow commissioners? All right. As I stated earlier, there are a number, 16 items that staff is recommended to have nailed down before it goes before the zoning, the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'd like to have them a little bit tightened up before we pass it along as up or down. But again, that's my opinion. Mr. Barks, do you have a motion?
Yes, I have a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, can you close the public hearing?
Oh, sorry about that. It is 8:12. Public hearing for case S-26-020 is now closed. Mr. Barks.
Mr. Chairman, on case S-26-020, I recommend that it is put on hold due to the 16 recommendations that are put up, that we can have more of a clarity on answers to not only get organization, but keep peace with the neighbors. So I propose that we put it on hold till next month, and then maybe they can present more answers for the recommendations.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Oakes. We have a first and a second. Are there any additional questions, comments, or motions?
I just want to say, Mr. Chairman, I think that everybody here has enjoyed the trail. It's been in existence for 34 years. But all of us sitting here, if we worked third shift and we heard a noise all night long, nobody would like that. But I do think that Mr. Walker is willing to reopen with the conditions, and if that can be proven, and Mr. Bartz has asked that it be tabled to another month, I think that's the way we should go. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ms. Meese. And before we cast our vote, let me just thank everyone who has spoke to this case tonight for being on time and courteous to each and every person who spoke. We really appreciate it. Please cast your vote.
Mr. Barks, there you
The motion to table the case passes 5-0. Case S-26-021. Public hearing is now open. Ms. Smith.
Case S26-021, Kerry Logan Jr., Kerry Logan Jr. on behalf of Mecklenburg Electric is requesting a special use permit on a total of 38.034 acres located on East Gretna Road, 40, and Telegraph Road, 685 in the Bannister Election District to allow for an office warehouse on 2 B2 Business District General Zone properties in accordance with Pennsylvania County Code 35-366. The application and the staff summary is in your board packet. Staff recommends approval of this case with 2 conditions. The first, a vegetative buffer with a minimum width of 20 feet shall be maintained along all portions of the property boundary that adjoin R1 zoned parcels. Existing vegetation may satisfy this requirement where it already provides effective screening. In areas where the boundary is currently open or lacks sufficient vegetation, new evergreen plantings shall be added to establish year-round visual buffering consistent with the intended 20-foot buffer. And the second condition is a fence with a minimum height of 4 feet shall be installed and maintained around the full perimeter of the stormwater pond to restrict access and ensure safety. The fencing shall remain in good repair for the duration of the use. And Mr. Chairman, Tim Bolte with Mecklenburg Electric Cooperative is here to represent the petition.
Anything you'd like to add? Good to go. Are any questions? Has anyone signed up to speak to this case?
No, sir.
Is there anyone here who would like to speak to this case? Seeing none, it is 8:16. Public hearing for case S-26-021 is now closed. Ms. Henderson.
Mr. Chairman, in case S-26-021, I'd like to make a motion that we recommend to the BZA Board of Zoning Appeals that this petition be approved with conditions.
With conditions. We have a first and a second.
A second.
Thank you, Ms. Meese. Any other questions, comments, or motions? Seeing none, please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. It's now 8:17. Case V-26-002. Public hearing is now open. Ms. Smith.
Case V26-002, Beth Ann West James is requesting a variance to Pennsylvania County Code Section 335-138.2A and 335-1382G, all in the campgrounds and recreational vehicle camper area standards for campgrounds and recreational vehicles. For the camper area lot size and the minimum street parking requirement. The property is A1 zoned agriculture, and it's located on West Sunrise Drive, 882 in the Tunstall Election District. The request is to avoid an abundance of land disturbance that would alter the property's natural landscape. Staff summary and the application are in your board packet. Because variances are quasi-judicial in nature, staff does not have a recommendation, but I did include the findings and analysis of the application in your packet.
Thank you. Ms. James, anything you'd like to add? Are there questions for Ms. James?
I have some comments.
Okay, Mr. Oaks.
Ms. James came and we approved a special use permit, and then we amended it. It was passed by the Board of Supervisors, and I think it was a real good plan. It's talking about the trees I've been on the property 3 times, and it looks like cutover land to me that was cut over 10 to 15 years ago. If it's any 140-year-old trees there, I missed them. Hardwood trees came back up so thick, weed couldn't hardly grow through them. And she's got 4 units on the plan that's here now. And I can't remember the number on the plan that we approved, but it looked like to me it was about 10 or 12. So if she wants to add on, she'll have to come back again. And so there was 1,600 square feet per unit. She wants to go to 30,000 square feet, which is 31.6 by 31.6, which is very, very small. And I think she would be happier in the long run to stick to the plan in place. And that's what I'm going to recommend, that she stick to the plan that's already in place and was passed by the Board of Supervisors.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am, you want to address that?
I'm not really clear on your comment, Mr. Oates. What I'm asking for is for us to cut down less trees. The campsite regulation requires that I cut out 1,600 square feet that's a traditional campsite slip. I am requesting that I cut down less trees and reduce the campsite slip to 1,000 square feet. So I'm asking to do less, not do more.
Well, I understand that, but I think code calls for 1,600 square feet. But what I was getting at about the plan that was approved, if you want to come in and add more units later on, you can do that without having to come back to see us. And you know, if it's special trees there, go around them. But I think the minimum requirement in code is 1,600 square feet, correct?
Correct, and that's what the variance request is for.
And I think we need to stick to that.
The 1,600 square feet is so, a traditional campsite is so that a car can park alongside of the unit. That is not permissible under our design because it's eco-friendly and it's a pedestrian area. So there's no need, and I understand your point about going around historic trees or special trees, but why should we be required to cut down more trees? The comprehensive plan suggests that we have more agricultural spaces and keep our green spaces. You're requiring me to cut down more trees than I need for no reason. And the plan that you have in front of you, and I'm sorry, I don't have a copy of the packet, should have just been a plan that shows 1,000 square feet as opposed to 1,600 square feet with all 15 units on it. So it's the same plan, just reduced slip size.
I don't think it includes all 15. I think it's just phase 1.
Yeah, and so this is, as when I was here before, this is a phase project. Phase 1 is 5 units, phase 2 is a wellness center, phase 3 is 5 more units. So it goes and goes and goes. And if I have to come back, that's fine, you know, that I have to come back, but I just don't see and pardon my, if this is, I just don't see, it doesn't make sense for me to cut down more trees than I need. This is totally against the agricultural plan, against the comp plan. Everything says you should keep the trees, and you're requiring that I cut down more.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying too, but when you get down to 30 feet by 30 feet for a housing unit, you know, your next door neighbor could reach through the window and take a steak off your grill in the next unit.
No, sir, because in the correspondence that was submitted, we maintain the 10-foot barrier between each unit, and it's a It's not a housing unit. It's a geodesic dome that only requires 20 feet by 20 feet. That's how big the unit is. So the decking and the spacing would be the remainder 600 feet. So we are over, to go 1,600 square feet, we'd be tripling the size that we need.
But I think, you know, we have these codes for a purpose and to keep it uniform in the county so when the next person comes along, we can say, well, you know, this is code and we sticking to it.
I understand that. You also, in this county, we don't have a glamping business that uses geodesic domes. There's always got to be the first. And that's why there also is regulation for exemption and appeal so that you can come back if this particular code or regulation doesn't quite fit your need. But none of this should go against common sense. And common sense says don't cut down more than you need.
Your original plan that laid out the 15 units at some point in time as you phased it in, had them spaced out for 1,600 square feet.
It did, because from the beginning of my interaction with community development, I was of the understanding that I could request a variance for a smaller slip size from the Department of Health. After our last meeting and convening, I went to the Department of Health. They indicate that they can't recommend something that is against the county. So I have to first, otherwise I would have made that request when I was here the last time. I will, you know, my error, I didn't know that I needed to get the recommendation here because it was very clear to me the last time, you know, are you fine with these regulations? You know, are you ready to comply with all of that? I just thought that the way that I get that exemption was through the Department of Health, which regulates campsites. I didn't know that I needed to come to the county, and that's why I'm here.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Is anyone signed up to speak to this case?
No, sir.
It's now 8:26. Public hearing for case V-26-002 is now closed. Mr. Oakes.
Mr. Chairman, I think I'm going to stick to code in case V-26-002. I make a motion that we deny this request.
We have a first. Is there a second?
I second.
Ms. Mee seconds. Are there any other questions, comments, or motions? Seeing none, please cast your vote. Variance is denied 5-0. It is now 8:27. Public hearing for case V-26-003 is now open. Ms. Smith.
Case V26-003, Margaret Jeanette Pierce is requesting a variance to Pennsylvania County Code Section 335-182B, minimum yard dimensions, side setback to an A1 agricultural zoned property located on Renan Road, 640, in the Stanton River Election District to allow for the replacement of a manufactured home for a new larger home. The applicant is requesting to reduce the required minimum side setback from 37 feet, which is calculated as 10% of the road frontage distance, to 10 feet. The staff summary and the application is in your board packet.
Thank you. Is Ms. Pierce here? Is anything you'd like to add to what we have? I didn't hear you. Okay. Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Pierce? Thank you. Has anyone signed up to speak to this case?
No, sir.
It is now 8:28. Public hearing for case V-26-003 is now closed. Mr. Ferris is not here. Can I get a motion from a fellow commissioner? Somebody want to help me out here?
I've got it. I'm sorry, I'm off the wrong page.
Mr. Chairman, in this case, forgive me, I wasn't prepared. Case V-26-003. I make a motion that the Board of Supervisors approve this petition.
This is, we make the call now.
Oh, goodness. I'm going to renege my motion, forgive me. I
No,
wasn't
this is a
prepared.
recommendation to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Okay, I thought you were saying supervisor, so, okay, it does go to the zoning board.
Yes.
Okay.
Forgive me.
All right.
All right.
You want to start again then?
We're going to rewind. So yes, Mr. Chairman, in the case of V-26-003, I make a motion that we recommend to the Board of Zoning Appeals that this request be approved.
All right, we have a first. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Ms. Mees. Are there any other questions, comments, or motions? Please cast your vote. Motion to grant the request passes 5-0. It's now 8:30. Case V-26-004 is now open. Ms. Smith.
Case V-26-004, Charles D. Thornton is requesting a variance to Pittsylvania County Code Section 335-182B, minimum yard dimensions, for the side setback to an A1 agriculturally zoned property located on Museville Road, 626 in the Callens-Gretna election district, to allow for the placement of a pole barn. The applicant is requesting to reduce the required minimum side setback from 46 feet, calculated as 10% of the parcel's road frontage, to 15 feet for the placement of a pole barn. The application and the staff summary is in your packet.
Is Mr. Thornton here? Is there anything you'd like to add to what we have, sir? Okay. Anyone have any questions, Mr. Thornton? Has anyone signed up to speak to this case?
No, sir.
It's now 8:31. Public hearing for case V-26-004 is now closed. Ms. Mees.
In case V-26-004, I make a recommendation to the Board of Zoning that this variance be honored.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Henderson. Any other questions, comments, or motions? Seeing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes 5-0. It's now 8:32. Case V-26-05. Public hearing is now open. Ms. Smith.
Case V-26-005, Christopher Dawson is requesting a variance to Pittsylvania County Code Section 335-74.2D, accessory and temporary buildings. Accessory buildings, no detached accessory building may be located in the front yard of a lot or a lot on an R1 residential district zone property. The lot is located on Knollwood Drive, Route 1300 in the Callens-Gretna election district and is zoned A1. And the staff summary and application are in your board packet.
All right, is Mr. Dawson here? Anything you'd like to add to what we have? And that was in your packet? Okay. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Dawson? Okay. Just to let you know, I looked at the property, the one that was on the picture and everything on the internet. It's really kind of camouflaged where it sits on the property. It's really not really noticeable where it's at. Did anyone sign up to speak to this case?
No, sir.
In that case, at 8:33, public hearing for case V-26-005 is now closed. Ms. Mees.
All right, in case V-26-005, I will make a recommendation to the BZA Board that this variance be accepted.
We have a first. Is there a second?
Second. I second.
Thank you, Mr. Barks. We have a first and second. Are there any questions, comments, or motions? Seeing none, please cast your vote. Motion carries 5-0. That concludes tonight's new cases. Under old business, we have a case that was continued from last month. So now, the public hearing for case S-26-017 is now open. Ms. Smith.
Case S-26-017, tabled from the June 2nd, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. Jody Taylor is requesting a special use permit for a shooting range on 3A1 agricultural district properties in accordance with Pennsylvania County Code 35-179. The property is 25.65 acres, located on Splendors Gate Road, 1620, in the Tunstall Election District. There is additional information that Mr. Taylor provided this afternoon that has been provided to you this evening. There is not a change in the staff summary simply because of a lack of time to provide that information to you. It does look like many of the items that the Planning Commission asked for additional information have been provided. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. Mr. Taylor is here as well.
Mr. Taylor, anything you'd like to add?
Let y'all know that I've tried to get them everything they wanted, and I'm willing to get them anything else that they need for this matter that we're working on right here. And I gave them a drone shots today to show them where I'd be shooting from and to where I would be shooting from on both turkey shoot, and occasionally we'll be shooting high-powered rifles and stuff like that, and I showed them where we'd be shooting from and to there. And then it was something brought up about a lead check or whatever like that. I got no problem with having one of them done or whatever the county needs done to go forward with it.
Okay. Any questions, Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, I just, some comments. I came up with some stuff. One of my buddies and I was looking up some of this stuff, and I put a copy on everybody's desk, and most of it overlaps what staff has come up with. But the main thing is you're going to have to deal with EPA as far as getting a certified person to design and build you a berm. It's going to have to be sifted so often. You know, you can't be shooting into the bank like you propose to start with because of lead contamination. And more than likely you're going to have to get a bond to take care of damage if there's ever any done as far as contamination. And so I think staff has come up with pretty good rules and regulations. And if you are issued a special use permit, once the Board of Supervisors issues this permit, you will not be allowed to shoot not one bullet until all of this stuff is implemented. You understand that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
What about the bullets that had been shot?
Well, they already there, but what I'm talking about, when you are issued a special use permit, you've got to implement all these rules and regulations before you can start shooting.
Well, that's what I'm working on.
Okay.
And, you know, time ain't been on my side since I got that second page, but I've been working on this since last November, but I'm willing to work on whatever I got to work on.
Speaking to the mic.
Yeah, I've been working on this since last November, and whatever else I need to get for the county or whatever, I'm willing to work with them in any kind of way I need to. And the EPA or whatever, I'm willing to follow all rules and regulations on that end too.
Okay.
I ain't much on Google this and Google that, but I'm pretty much on hands-on and go straight forward to one thing at a time and get that done, and then move on to something else and get that done. Like the lead noise ordinance you wanted me to get sound check.
Yep.
I started with the sheriff's office. The only way I can get that done is I got to violate before they can come out and check me. So now I got to back up and try to get somebody else on that point. But, you know, I'm doing all that I'm supposed to be doing as far as I know. And I know what you're saying. I got to follow all rules and can't find those shots and whatever. But this all boils down just to satisfy one person right there, because I can do this every day on my land because that's what I got it for. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm just trying to get a special use permit so the neighbors on Friday night don't see the spotlight and the blue light than at my house every Friday night and make me look like a bad person when that's your bad person right there.
All right.
You know, I'm trying to be in compliance with anything that you want me to do just to keep this man from calling the law on me. That's what this is all about. And I spent thousands of dollars to get to this point where I'm at now. I got you the elevation shots, I got you the footage from the road, and I got you to and from where I'm gonna be shooting and this and that. Like I said, if the EPA wants to come out there and tell me whatever I gotta do, hey, I ain't got no problem with that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm willing to turn you over to the county to make sure that all of this is implemented and you abide by it.
Yeah, ain't no problem.
Anyone else have questions? Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Thank you.
Anyone signed up to speak to this case?
Yes, sir. Mr. Brumfield?
Yes, my name is Kenny Brumfield. I was before you June the 2nd on this right here, and I had 27 people sign up the petition against this because he says that he intimidates them. But I'm not going to let him intimidate me. He's talking about the shooting and this, that, and the other. Well, he's a convicted felon. He got his gun rights back, but still, he still possessed a gun after being a convicted felon. He's been arrested several times, resisting arrest, trying to felony elude the police, arson. He burned his wife and his house down and his son. And then takes and goes out there and throws her Bible in her car and throws a mattress on top of it and burns that to the ground. Does this look like somebody needs a shooting permit? You tell me. All right. Also, he been convicted of felony. He's been charged with eluding people, resisting arrest, reckless driving, arson, possession of cocaine, possession of marijuana, assault and battery, shooting into an occupied building. For that right there, he drives his bulldozer down the road to shoot in this occupied building and threatens to take his bulldozer and push the house down. And in between, he's sitting out there star naked on drugs. And he looks like he needs it.
All right.
You know? There's no sense in it. And he tells me, he said, I'm a white supremacist, and I'm proud of it.
Let's stick to the special use permit itself.
Yeah, all right, you're talking about shooting, okay? The other night, Sunday night, he was shooting at 1 o'clock in the morning right there, you know? This is recently, this past weekend. And he's talking about shooting. He's the biggest liar of the woods. All right? Then June the 23rd, he's done out, he shoots off an explosion. This here right here is at 1:15 in the morning. All right, well, long after that, he shoots another one off. I mean, it's in the morning time. You know, the noise ordinance is no shooting before sunrise and no shooting after sunset. You know, and this right here is in the morning time. People are supposed to be sleeping, but he's out having a good time partying. No, he's on does drugs, this, that, and the other. No, he don't need a special use permit. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's all I got to say. Thank y'all.
30 seconds remaining.
Y'all got any questions?
Anyone else?
That's it.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Saturday night I shot in other incidents, he said I was shooting whatever. That ain't me. That echo and that holler, you alive, anybody's alive.
Hey, listen.
But anyway, that guy right there is a guy that used to work at the Pepsi plant and let his beagles out at 4 o'clock in the morning to wake your whole neighborhood up, wants to gig you and make faces and this and that. That's just when you see him on the road, whatever. He's the one intimidating somebody, but that's why I'm trying to go around this little bitty tree when it's then turned into a big one to keep from having any more trouble that, you know. And I ain't on no more drugs and alcohol than he is, because I don't even do drugs and drink no more. I don't know about him, but I can speak for myself.
Okay.
I just wanted to verify that. I did shoot some fireworks Saturday night on the 4th of July, but I ain't shot no explosive off. I just wanted to address that to the county, because I respect my neighbors and my other friends on them roads more than I do him, because I ain't got no respect for him.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here who'd like to speak to this case who did not sign up? It's now 8:45. Public hearing for case S-26-017 is now closed. Mr. Oakes.
Yes. In case S-26-017, I'll make a motion that we issue this special use permit subject to the conditions of staff and the conditions that I brought tonight. And I'm recommending this to rein this problem in so that Mr. Taylor knows exactly what he can do and not do. So I recommend to the Board of Supervisors or zoning that we issue this special use permit.
We have a first. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Meese. Are there any other questions, comments, or motions?
Mr. Oakes, can I please have those extra conditions that you recommended?
Yes, ma'am. I will bring them right over to you after the vote.
I'm sorry.
All right. He's going to bring them to you after he votes. All right. I don't think I saw any motions, comments, questions. Please cast your vote.
Ms. Henderson, please.
Motion passes 4-1. If it's okay with staff, I know we got a lengthy bit on the new business part B. If we want to, let's take a 5-minute break and we'll pick up with new business. There he is.
This is me.
Moving on to item 11, under new business. Item A, Bannister Den Farm LLC. Ms. Smith.
Yes. This is a conservation easement request by Elizabeth N. Davenport as representative of Bannister Bend Farm LLC on 333.325 acres located on Johnson Mill Road, 683 in the Stanton River Election District. In the comprehensive plan, the guidelines for conservation easement state conservation easement requests have to be reviewed and approved by the Planning Commission to verify that the area of the potential easement is proposed for agricultural or conservation use on the future land map, or that the protection of the specific parcels involved is consistent with the overall intent of the future land use map, and there is a public benefit to the easement. This property is designated as agricultural and rural residential on the comprehensive plan future land use map, as required for a conservation easement to be considered in accordance. Staff recommends approval of the submitted request. The conservation easement is in accordance with the Pittsylvania County Comprehensive Plan future land use map.
Well, I guess only commissioners are here to speak on this item. Since there's nobody left. Any questions or comments? Seeing none. Need to say no one has signed up to speak to this conservation easement either. All right. So now, I guess the public hearing for the Bannister Farm is closed. Whose district was this?
Matters.
Ferris. Can I get a motion out of someone?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Ferris.
I'll make the motion that this easement is approved. It's a beautiful farm there, and I can understand why the Davenports want to put this into a proposed conservation easement. So
We have first. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Oakes. Are there any other questions, comments, or motions? Please cast your vote. Conservation easement is approved 5-0. Now we move on to the highlight of the evening. Ms. Smith.
Yes. So the final item on the agenda tonight is discussion of the proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance due to legislative changes from this past General Assembly. I have provided a little background on each of the bills and then proposed red line language just of the portions of the ordinance that those particular bills will require changes. Mr. Chairman, if you'd like to, we can go through each one and have a discussion as needed, or you tell me how.
I think we can just open it here to see, as each one of us read through it, what issues they may or may not have.
Okay. And one more thing before we continue. This is not a public hearing. This is discussion, and then the public hearing may not be until September because of advertising requirements. So that's where we...
I thought it was pretty thorough. I read through it twice. The only question I had is from a red line perspective was under Article 4, the heading for manufactured homes. It still had the revised date of June 7th, 1999. Would that be redlined out for the new adopted, whatever that to-be date is determined to be?
I'm not sure if that would be redlined out or if a new date would just be added to the end of the
Okay,
section.
I just want to make certain that we don't skip
Yes.
over that as we get to it.
Yes.
Anyone else have any questions or comments regarding all the language you read? Seeing none, I'm going to assume that that means that we are good to go with that. And he went a lot quicker than I thought. Before I hit the gavel to adjourn, is there anything else? And let me thank my fellow commissioners for going through this evening. It was a good deal. We are adjourned at 9:01.